You're all welcome to my channel. So if this is your first time, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. I am going to walk you through on how to build an end-to-end ETL data pipeline. So we just look at what the prerequisites for following through while I'm doing this particular project. So these are some of the things I expect that you should have installed on your system, like Docker, like Git Bash, VS Code. You can use any other IDE of your choice, not a problem. I also expect that you have a basic knowledge of Python as well as SQL. So let's just quickly look at the architecture. Let's just have like a better understanding of what the architecture is all about. So what we're trying to do in this particular project is we're trying to extract data from the English Premier League website. So we want to extract the bio of the players as well as their stats. So we are going to be using an API, that's Python API, to do the extraction. So the extracted data, which will be in its raw format, will be stored in a database. So in this particular one, we're using Google BigQuery. Then we will perform transformation on this data, which we'll be using dbt to transform the data, and we save the transform data now back into Google BigQuery database. Then we use Airflow, as you can see, to orchestrate the whole pipeline as well as to schedule the pipeline if we want to get data either monthly or either at the end of the season. Just depends on how you want it. I'll show you how to go about all of that. So just want you to have like a clear understanding of what this whole project is all about. So we have Docker. Essentially, what Docker does is just to help us containerize all of this so that they can communicate with each other. We can have it and run it in another system, and it will run without any um, problem. So I am going to split this project into different sections. So this particular one will just be strictly based on how to set up our environment. Basically, we're trying to set up our Docker Airflow environment and have the necessary files as necessary folders installed, as well as creating a folder that houses all of this. So I'll show you how to do that. Now, just before we get started, I want you to understand that this particular project is unique. You don't get to see it anywhere. Why? Because we are going to rely more on Google as well as the official documentation of all of the tool that we're going to be using here. So the reason why I decided to do it that way is just to help you see how you can learn a new tool by just going through the official documentation of that particular tool that you want to learn. So to get started, we're going to create a folder. So let's open our um, Git. Oh, it's not saying start for it. Git bash. No problem. So to create a folder, to mkdir, then let's call it EPL pipeline. That's the name of the folder. Now I want to move into the folder, so we'll do cd EPL pipeline. Okay, so let me just run you through the website. That's the Premier League website. Let's understand how this website look like so that we will get a feel of what we intend to achieve. So on your computer, just type EPL historical players data. you should have the first link. Just click on the first link. So we can click on any of them, but let's just click the first one, which is appearance. For those who are sport lovers, I believe most of the names you will be familiar with it. So this gives us, I think, just the first 10 players, which are ranked based on their appearance. So we want more information about the player. So let's click on the first one. So it brings us to another page that focuses on the bio, but we need more. So click on start. So this particular page is just giving us for 2017/2018 season. So we want all, so click on all, save. Lovely. So from here we can see all of the stats that we are interested in. So we want to take all of this data and put it in a tabular form. That is what we want to do. So we don't want to do it manually. So we want to use API, that's Python API to do that. So we'll come back to the extraction phase. I'm just trying to just show you what we intend to achieve from here. Now let's go back to what we intend to achieve in this particular section of our project, which is just setting up our environment. So let's come back. So we've created the folder, which is this. Now let's go back to architecture. Let's understand what we're trying to do here. So what we're trying to do, remember, we want all of these guys here, except the Power BI, to run inside Docker. So we should find a way to install all of these guys inside, or we should find a way to run all of them inside Docker. So let's start with the first one, which is our Airflow. So we're going to check and see how to install Airflow in Docker. Let's come back to this, open a new tab. Let's type how to install Airflow in Docker. Okay, lovely. So it gives us running Airflow in Docker. So this is like the documentation of how to go about it. So I will encourage you to read it. It gives you a better understanding of how to go about it and why you're doing what you are doing. So what we want to pick here is we want to pick first is the Docker Compose YAML file. So we'll just pick this. I know some of you might not be familiar with Docker, but it's fine. Just follow through. If you want me to make a video on how to use Docker, please you can drop a message in the comment section, and I'll try my best to see how I also use documentation to help you simplify how to use Docker. Yeah, so this is done. So we'll just move down. So we need all of these files here. We need all of these folders installed inside our current directory. So just click on this, copy, come back here. We'll paste it and see what we have. Yeah, don't worry, just hold on a minute. I'll show you all what I'm doing. So it's telling us to initialize our database because we're just doing it for the first time. So we expected to initialize our database. So we are going to copy this. I think this takes some minutes to initialize. So I'll just run it. Let's see what we have. So let's see what we have. Okay, I think it's running. Okay. It's running. Let's see our Docker, what we have. Okay. Let's minimize to come back to that. So it's still running. So when it's finished running, we should see this like exited with code 0. That's what we should see. So since we are just dealing more with setting up our Airflow and Docker environment, I will just probably stop here just in a minute. Let's give this some time to run. Just want to show that. So it's quite fast. Um, let's see. Okay, let's give it some time. I think it's almost there. A minute or two. Just be patient with it, please. Um, okay, still running. Okay. So let's still look at our Docker. That's what we have. We have the Docker. So this is the container, which is the name we gave, which is EPL pipeline. So if we click on here, we have different images. I'll show you this. So this is like a Postgres, which is like a database, but we're not using this particular one, so it's fine. Then let's come back and see if what we're trying to initialize has finished. Okay, still trying to. Just bear with it for a minute. Lovely. So you see, it's exited with code 0. So just click on any key. Lovely. So we'll clean this. So let's see everything we've been doing. So just press code space, then just do dots and enter. It should open a VS Code and we'll get to see everything we've been doing. Lovely. So our VS Code is open. Okay, so this is our VS Code. So if you still remember, we first of all create a directory, call it EPL pipeline. That's the name you can see. So we moved into that directory, and inside the directory we create subdirectories, which is some of what you're seeing here. So this is a Docker compose YAML file. I won't talk much on this because we are not dealing with how or tutorial on how to use Docker Compose. So we already have the file. We'll just do a little modification to the file, which I'll just show you. Now we'll come back to, let's get this off. So we'll come back to documentation. Now it gives us how to run the file. We'll use this, but not now. We'll come back to this just in a minute. So if we scroll down, I just want to show you something. Now we're going to be using our own custom image. Now for us to use our own custom image, we have to make some adjustment to our YAML file, a Docker Compose YAML file. So this gives us what we need to do. So it says comment out the image diff. So let's open that VS Code. So it says we should comment out this image. Let's comment it. Let's go back and see what next it said we should do. It says then remove the comment from build. Okay, so do that. So remove the comment from build. Lovely. So let's come back to it again. So it said we can build. I'll still come back to this. Now it's asking us to create a Docker file in the same folder as your Docker compose YAML file. So simply what we just need to do, we just come back to this, just type touch, then Docker file, enter. So that file is created. If we open our VS Code, we should see a Docker file which is created here, right? Lovely. Why are we creating all of this is because we are using a custom image. So that is what we're using our own image because like what we have in architecture, we're going to use this, which is Google BigQuery. So we want to see how all of them communicate with one another, how DBT communicates with one another. So we want to install all of this, want to run all of this inside our Docker. Now let's come back. So let's just read quickly. So it says we should create another file that is requirement.txt empty. So we're going to just copy it and just create it. Like I said, I will encourage you to read through all of this if you have the time. It really helps you to understand what I'm doing. So copy will come back to this. The same thing we do touch. Then that particular this thing will copy, we'll paste it there. Requirement dot then enter. So if we come back to this, let's see what we have. So we have it here like this number. Now we'll close this just in a minute. We'll come back to our documentation. So it says after creating Docker file in the same folder as this. So it's asking us to copy all of this now and dump it inside our Docker file. Copy it. Let's come back to our Docker file and paste it there. Let's do Control S. So let's save this also as well. So we now have all of our environments ready. So I will just walk you quickly through some of these things. So I think what we are more interested in is just the DAGs. As the DAGs, I will explain this more in the video, explain all of this, but if you can see, we basically have nothing inside of them, but we're going to be creating them as we go on in our project. So I will stop here because what we've achieved the first phase of our project, which is just setting up our environment. So in the next stage of our project, we're going to extract the data and see how we're going to bring it back into this particular um, folder, into this particular directory. That's the EPL pipeline that we created. So thank you very much for listening. So like I said, if this is your first time, please don't forget to hit the like or the subscribe button. If you have any question or if you need the explanation on any other thing, please don't forget to drop it on the comment section. I will do my best to explain all of these things in details. I'll do my best to explain it as we go on. I just don't want the video to be bored. I don't want you to be bored with the video, so I'm trying to split it into sections. So we now have like an understanding of how to create um, our environment. So this is what we're going to be using, and we will come back to this. Thank you very much.